In Ontario, motor vehicle collisions are one of the leading causes of worker injuries and fatalities. On an average day, motor vehicle collisions will kill more than 2 people and injure more than 180 others. The four major factors leading to motor vehicle fatalities are drinking and driving, large truck crashes, driver speed, and unbelted occupants. The top three driver conditions and actions that contribute to fatal collisions are impairment as a result of alcohol or drugs, distracted driving, aggressive behavior. The best way to avoid collisions is to practice defensive driving. Driving defensively will help you to avoid collisions based on the actions of others and avoid collisions based on adverse driving conditions. It is based on three ideas. Visibility. Keep your eyes constantly moving, scanning the road ahead and to the side, and checking mirrors every 5 seconds or so. The further ahead you look, the less likely you will be surprised. Space. Managing space around your vehicle lets you see and be seen and gives you time and space to avoid a collision. Stay well back, as the greatest risk of collision is directly in front of you, but keep a cushion of space on all sides. Communicate. Make sure that other drivers who see you know what you are doing. Signal when you wish to change lanes and turn. Make eye contact with pedestrians, cyclists, and other drivers at intersections. If you need to get another driver's attention, use your horn. This module will help demonstrate some defensive driving techniques based on these ideas. Driver distraction. A driver who is distracted, drowsy, or fatigued is 50% more likely to be seriously injured or killed in a crash than an attentive driver. The largest source of distraction on roads today is cell phone use. For this reason, all provinces and territories have some form of phone or distracted driving legislation in place. The chart shows the penalties and fines currently in place. Note that many U.S. states now have distracted driving laws in place as well. Driving conditions. There are 6 conditions which create hazards for drivers. How a driver reacts to these conditions has a large influence on a collision occurring. The conditions are the driver driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, distractions, fatigue, and emotions. The vehicle may have poor brakes, worn or underinflated tires, or non-functioning indicator lighting. Roads. Curves, steep grades, and road defects such as potholes. Light. Poor light conditions including dusk, dawn, or extreme sun glare. Weather. Rain, snow, ice, and fog. Traffic. Heavy traffic situations like rush hour. Driving drowsy. Driving drowsy is considered to be just as dangerous as driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Like drugs and alcohol, drowsiness decreases awareness, slows reaction time, and impairs judgment. According to the Canadian Council of Motor Transport Administrators, fatigue is a factor in up to 21% of collisions, resulting in about 400 deaths and 2,100 serious injuries every year. Signs of fatigue: loss of concentration, daydreaming, excessive yawning, sore or tired eyes, slow reactions, irritability, missing road signs, drifting out of your lane, nodding off. To avoid driving while fatigued, drive only when rested. Keep your mind alert. Avoid sugary and fatty foods and drinks. Instead, drink water and eat high-protein snacks. Find a place to stop if you feel drowsy. Aggressive driving. Aggressive driving behaviors take many forms. Typically, they include speeding, driving too close to the car in front, not respecting traffic regulations, and improper lane changes and weaving. Some causes can be traffic congestion combined with a difficult-to-keep schedule. Plan ahead and drive defensively to avoid aggressive driving. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety gives 3 basic principles to avoid and deal with aggressive driving. Number 1, don't offend. A few specific things anger drivers the most, such as cutting off, driving slowly in the left lane, tailgating, and gestures. Number 2, don't engage. One angry driver can't start a fight unless another driver is willing to join in. Steer clear. Give angry drivers lots of room. Avoid eye contact if another driver is angry with you. Get help if you believe the other driver is following you and may be trying to start a fight. Number 3, adjust your attitude. Forget winning. Driving is not a contest. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. And if you think you have an anger problem, seek help. Route planning. Planning ahead will help minimize driver conditions such as stress and fatigue, as well as minimize other conditions like heavy traffic and bad weather. Best practices for route planning include mapping the route, planning stops, setting a reasonable schedule, checking weather and road conditions, and leaving on time. Vehicle care. To prevent breakdown and mechanical failure that may result in a collision, your vehicle needs to be properly maintained. Inspect your vehicle and ensure all maintenance has been done before and after your trip. The most common defects found in heavy commercial vehicle collisions are an insecure load, defective brakes, and defective tires. Investigations performed by Michigan's Fatal Accident Complaint Team have indicated that as many as 55% of trucks involved in fatal crashes have at least one vehicle mechanical defect, and that about half of these would be sufficient to place the vehicle out of service. Blind spots and mirrors. Heavy commercial vehicles have large blind spots, which makes adjusting mirrors very important. Inspect, clean, and adjust all mirrors prior to leaving on your trip. Looking ahead, watch the road ahead of you and the traffic around you. Pay attention for the following: turn signals and brake lights, vehicles changing lanes or pulling out at intersections, pedestrians. Seat belts. You are 4 times more likely to survive a crash when wearing a seat belt. Seat belts must be worn over the shoulder. Placing under the arm can cause damage to the ribs and vital organs in the event of a collision. Wearing a seat belt minimizes the body's contact with the interior of the vehicle, reducing the chance of injury by 50%. The force of impact is spread over larger parts of the body, reducing the severity of the injuries. It is the law in all parts of Canada and the United States that a seat belt be worn when operating a motor vehicle. Braking. As mentioned, space is important in defensive driving. You need to leave enough space ahead of you to allow you to brake to a complete stop without collision. Always apply brakes with even pressure, easing off as the vehicle slows. The following will have an effect on your required braking distance: weather, rain, snow, and ice, vehicle weight, vehicle speed, braking system and tires, and grade. When driving down a steep hill, do not overuse the brakes. Reduce speed as much as possible before going down the grade. Select the appropriate gear to allow the engine to help brake the vehicle. How quickly you can react and begin to apply the brakes also affects stopping distance. Your reaction time will increase due to fatigue, light conditions, mental alertness, drugs, and alcohol. Following distance. The general rule used for following distance in a commercial vehicle is known as the 6-second rule. This means that if you pick a spot beside a vehicle you are following, it should take you 6 seconds to reach that point after the other vehicle has passed it. Another guideline is 1 second for every 10 feet of vehicle length when driving under 65 kilometers per hour. So, if your truck is 50 feet, you need a 5-second cushion. You need an additional second to the total if going over 65 kilometers per hour. So you would need 6 seconds in that case. No matter the length and size of the vehicle, never follow less than 4 seconds behind. This number should also be increased when driving in adverse weather conditions such as rain, snow, and ice. Light. At night, your reaction time is increased because you cannot see as far ahead as you can in the daylight. If you do not give yourself enough time to react to something once your headlights have illuminated it, you are going too fast and overdriving your headlights. As you go around curves, you must wait for your headlights to illuminate what is directly in front of you. Take extra precautions on curves at night. In general, it is advisable to travel slower during the night to allow yourself more time to react. Merging and yielding. When merging onto any road or highway, accelerate to highway speed before merging. Look ahead and to the side as early as possible. Signal, then change lanes only when safe. Be aware of other drivers who might not move to let you in. It is illegal to merge over a solid line. Yield signs. Through traffic always has the right of way. Wait for traffic to pass and proceed when safe and clear. Emergency vehicles always have the right of way. Do not enter an intersection when an emergency vehicle is passing in front. You may move into an intersection to allow an emergency vehicle to move past you from behind. When an emergency vehicle is behind you, pull to the right side of the road and slow until they have passed. Even if you are in the far left lane, you should pull to the right.